Yeah, maybe we give it a few minutes here. This is what we wear in Texas for our masks right here. See? Like that. They say safe in public. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting kind of tired of wearing the mask everywhere. Now I got Taylor Swift stuck in my head. That happened to me. I posted the picture a little while back. So we actually did Courtney's awesome. She, Soph's like super into Taylor Swift, everything. So she found the sunglasses, she found the poster. She couldn't find the shirt, so she had her make shirts. She made her shirts, and then she made her a Taylor Swift birthday cake on the 13th of December because that's Taylor Swift's birthday, of course.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Celebrated Taylor Swift birthday.
We did, yeah. Had a guitar on it, and we literally sang "Happy Birthday" to Taylor Swift, and then cut the cake, ate some cake, and then we just played Taylor Swift videos for like 2 hours. I probably sang Taylor Swift songs for 2 weeks.
Got them stuck in the head.
Yeah. She's good music.
Yeah, she's good.
All right. Hello. If we could just give it a couple minutes. I know, I'm sorry guys, it took me a little bit longer. I was waiting to get some updates on what's happening tomorrow. I know it's getting late. So, but, oh, that's weird. It's like an echo over here. Anyways, I just wanted to see if I can get those updates. There's different gatherings happening. Give it a few minutes. What happens? You just bring everybody on camera.
They're going up.
And people come. Tracy Wade, all the way from Scotland. Just kidding. She's in Alabama coming back.
Someone said it might be muted.
Muted.
I don't think so.
Shouldn't be muted.
No,
Yeah, just speaking too low. I had trouble for that when I was younger too much. All right. UK, California. Wisconsin.
That's great.
All right, you're like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. We'll go. I just want to make sure you guys have these because everybody's been asking a lot of different questions, and there are a lot of moving parts right now, so we're trying to figure it out. And I got like Taylor Swift bad blood in my head. Seriously.
We should be playing something. Man. Put some background on.
I'm gonna bring my guitar next time. We'll play a couple songs as everybody comes together. Well, I put out Aloha Keakua earlier.
Cardigan, Exile.
I don't know that one.
Huh?
I don't know how to play it. No. All right, let's see. All right, guys. So, oh, you're gonna play music. Oh, I see how it goes. Oh my gosh, it's the entry music in honor of Sophie. All right, I think we'll probably get started. I don't want to keep you guys too much because I know that it's probably late. Well, then again, who knows? If you're in the UK, it's morning, isn't it? Is it morning in the UK?
Either that or really late.
Hey, you're like, wait, I don't even know.
I don't think they ever go to sleep in the UK anyway, so they kind of go all night.
when I go to London, man, your time zone switches so fast. It's awesome. Okay, cool. So let's go. I want to tell you guys a couple things that happened. Some really, really positive stuff. Let's start there, because I know that there's a lot of like emotion around this whole situation, and everybody has a ton of questions about some things that we're just not sure about. So we certainly don't want to come to y'all and say, yeah, we have this inkling or that inkling, and there's a lot of misinformation going around, and I get it. But if we don't know, I would rather not tell people. So first and foremost, like probably the most important thing, we have secured legal counsel. And when I say we've secured legal counsel, I mean we've secured 6 awesome lawyers from 2 different firms that are ready to really walk into this situation and find some remedies. Lead counsel is Jamie Graham. She's amazing, awesome person. Super connected with her. I felt like she understood us. She understood why we've been doing this in the first place, and I don't know. It was really refreshing. So a lot of you know, I have studied Reiki for quite some time, and Reiki, if you're not familiar with it, is an Eastern healing practice that came over here a number of years back through Japan. And I did it at a time when I was kind of going through a growth period, and somebody recommended it, and I went into it, and it was very interesting to me, and kind of pursued it, but it was held against me a lot in courtrooms even. So when we met Jamie, it was pretty awesome. I mean, she's a cancer survivor. She's tough. She's smart, and we connect on that level too, because she also is a practitioner. So that was good. We have so she's lead counsel. Second of it, Sarah Ann Lishman, who Jimmy's like, we're putting the fiery redhead right next to me, and she is, and we're excited to have her on board as well. Tracy Ross is coming on board. Aaron Grossi, Alicia Galvani is going to help me with anything related to some of the Spanish networks that we're trying to reach out to as well, to bring in more attention for this issue. And Caroline Hewlett. So that's the team. It's 6 strong, and there's a lot to figure out. So, you know, this is the team Sophie right here, and it's thanks to you guys. Truly, thanks to you guys. We were out of this. To be honest, we had spent every last penny in this battle, and it was a leap of faith to come out and say we need help, and y'all were there. So we really, really appreciate it, and we're back in it. So let's move forward. Tomorrow there's a court date at 10 o'clock. I'm assuming it's going to be at 10 o'clock. I've gone to a court date in the morning before, and then it was like a line, and then they chose a time later, but I'm assuming it's at 10. I'm not sure if I'll be there or not. I'm supposed to be on standby. So we'll see. There's a ton of issues that they're going to have to sort through. So, all right, cool. Actually, I do want to give a little update. Lacey Lakeview, I do want to make a comment about that, because it's come up a couple times. I had a really great conversation with Sergeant Higgins, and I want that to be clear, because it's one thing to hold people accountable. It's another thing to also give credit where credit's due. And Sergeant Higgins called me personally. We had a great conversation. He's helping make sure that the proper thing is done for the situation that occurred. And so we're going to work together and make sure that that's taken care of. And he was really generous in offering guidance if there's anything else that we need, because it's something that, quite frankly, we haven't gotten along the way. And I think that's, exposing another issue with this whole process, is that, parent or parents get into a situation like this and they don't know what resource to turn to. And I know that there are resources out there, but you don't always know where to find them. And that's kind of led to some conversations that we've had lately too. If there might be ways that we could organize kind of resource areas for if there's parents that are showing up that are saying, hey, I was in a similar situation and I need some help with this or that. I just so many amazing folks out there that are doing great work, and it's really confusing though if you're in a bad situation, you don't know which way to turn. So let's see here. How's this thing working? Oh wow. Oh, I'm a cat? I didn't mean to be a cat. No, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, there's.
I don't know what I'm doing here. What's this do?
There, you're back to.
Okay, perfect. I was trying to see comments because I'd like. They're what?
There's a lot of support. Australia, Canada.
No, I was just trying to make sure there weren't any questions coming in.
Yeah.
Wait, is it paused?
No, it's going along. I can tell you there's some questions. They want to know update on the kids.
The kids. We don't have confirmation where they're at yet. I have not spoken with them yet. And it's been over a week, so I'm pretty disturbed by that. We've heard rumors. I hope some of those rumors aren't true. But I don't know for sure where they're at. I don't know why I can't see comments. Is there anything else?
Yeah, no, there's no really questions. They're all just, there's a lot of people around the world that are supporting you guys right now. Australia. Is Sophie in a safe place? Have they told you yet?
The what, a safe place?
Yeah, no, it's just...
You know, I'm going to say something about this safe place stuff, and because this actually is a little bit of a hot button for me. We've been told that they're safe for so long. Fact of the matter is, like, you can tell me they're safe all day long. You don't show me they're safe, or I don't know that they're safe, there's no way for me to feel secure in that. And especially since, honestly, along the way, I haven't felt like, I say this nicely, I haven't felt like necessarily what certain people say and what's reality is always congruent. So it's not enough for me for just have a blanket statement saying that the kids are safe at all. You can't tell me my kids are safe for a week and not disclose where they're at to me and just expect me to just accept that. I don't accept that. And that's directly to the Frisco PD. I don't accept that answer. And I don't know who is in charge of this or what you're doing, but if the rumors are true about how you're actually protecting them right now, I hope you super reevaluate that quickly, because it's the closest thing I heard to sounding like it was the truth was completely inadequate. But I want to know more than just they're safe. But why should I believe you? I want to know more than that. And I think as a father, I deserve to know more than that.
Is it possible for you to get the kids back after court tomorrow?
I don't know. And I'm kind of leaving that up to Jamie at this point because there's a lot to sort out. There's a lot of things that have been turned into court, a lot of pleadings. Jamie and her team have had to sort through so many documents. Confusing documents too at that, because they're the way they were filed and when they were filed and why they were filed and by who they were filed. And whose opinion went into why they were filed all plays into it too, because there's been some changes, especially with Rachel Lee standing down.
Did the lawyers say anything about the gag order? Are you still under a gag order, or is anybody able to fight that tomorrow?
I never agreed to a gag order.
Okay. That would really matter in a civil case to begin with. But...
I have a First Amendment, freedom of speech, and quite frankly, I'm going to speak up for my daughter no matter what. So.
Are you going to try to get a restraining order?
I'm not sure what the tactic's going to be necessarily. I don't think I can gameplay this, and that's why that's why you guys help raise these funds, is to put together a brilliant legal team to go into this and try to find a result that's going to work. I want to know the kids are not just safe from somebody else's. I'm their father. I'll deem if they're safe. So.
And there's a couple more. They want to know if the mother and the boyfriend actually took her phone away,
Mm-hmm.
and also there's some question about the boys and what their status is.
Yeah, the phone. So yeah, the phone was taken away, and it was taken away on the 25th after we had gone through the whole drop-off scene at the police department. We know some of the things that happened after that drop-off, and honestly, we were advised that if the Amicus had seen that. Okay, so let me back up. I want to try to touch a couple points since we're here. There have been a lot of claims thrown out. Sequentially, I think it started with I was mentally ill. That went on for quite some time. And then it went on to false accusations. That happened for a while, that I was making false accusations, when in reality it was my daughter speaking up. It wasn't me trying to go after somebody, it was my daughter actually speaking up. See, that's a big difference. And then it was that I was coaching. We actually talked to an actress today who was commenting on this, and she said, she brought up the coaching topic, and she was like, if you were coaching her, you're the best coach ever, and she's an amazing actress. And I'm like, yeah, boy, I don't know, I teach a little girl to go fight off 2 grown women, but no, I didn't coach her. They aren't false allegations that I'm trying to put out there for nothing. And as far as my mental stability and mental well-being, I think I can speak to this moment. I'm about as good as I could be without seeing my kids for as long as I haven't seen them. I'm sorry, I probably got off point. What was
The boys.
The boys. So Jack and Lucas, I haven't heard from them either. They departed at the same time. I don't know. With the boys, I have a lot of questions. They're not really part of, I guess, well, they may be a part of what's discussed, but the boys are a whole different topic that, obviously in this case, Sophie spoke up loudly, and it was incredibly clear that Sophie was having issues with what was going on in the home, but the boys have expressed issues in the past too, and those should be addressed as well. A lot of it stemmed from before. I don't know what's up with Jake. There's rumors he got arrested. There's, I don't know if it's a rumor, if it's truth. Until I see a mugshot, I won't know. So that's the tricky part about this whole thing. There's a lot of stories that are popping up, and people are analyzing things, and I understand they're all trying to understand it. We're trying to understand it too. It's really confusing, and I think that's what we can all agree on, is that this is a super confusing situation, and that's one of the reasons we ended up in this situation. There's so many loose ends and nonsensical things that happen along the way. Anything else before you?
Why does the video say the cops say she's in a safe place? Obviously because they can't gain any more proof.
Yeah, I don't know. Frisco's limited the amount they're going to say.
Especially if there's an active investigation.
Yeah, no, I get that too. Yeah, they have protocols that they got to follow, but
they're asking about the boys testing positive for drugs.
yeah, Jack tested positive for cocaine and marijuana back in it was May. We had him tested after being gone for 66 days. Brought him to a drug test lab in New Braunfels, Texas, the same lab that Comal County courts use. Had a zero tolerance drug test, and he was detected on cocaine and marijuana.
Were you able to get them a wellness check? Any requests that
No.
they were able to call you?
Actually, Frisco quit answering my wellness check calls a while back because there was a series of calls placed to Frisco PD saying that I was harassing her. And by the time I had called in to ask for one, which wasn't a common occurrence, but I called in and they said that I can't be calling in every day or every other day, which made no sense because I hadn't been calling in every other day. And so yeah, they declined my request to go. And then, let's see, the next time, the next time wellness check was called in was, Courtney called it in, and it was the night, it would have been, I think it was, gosh, it was the 25th, a Tuesday, I think. So it must have been like a Wednesday. Called to do my FaceTime call with them, and I didn't get an answer, which I was already worried enough because of what had happened the day before. And we'd gotten this TRO paperwork that was submitted, and in that paperwork, they were trying to state that Sophie had threatened to kill herself if her cell phone was taken away. And this was one of the basis of her having mental health issues. And as soon as we read that, and Courtney was like, well, I'm calling. We need to find out what's up because we know they took away the cell phone. And the wellness check consisted of them calling Kelly's cell phone to see if they were all right. Totally unacceptable. I'm totally unacceptable.
Where do you, let's clarify some, people are asking where they want to officially donate to. There's been certain
that's
fake
good.
GoFundMes, and they're wanting to know what your preference is.
Yeah, so this has been a huge back and forth issue, and I get it. There were some people super concerned about this, and it kind of came out of left field for us too. We're like, excuse me, you want to take the GoFundMe and put it into the court's accounts? I don't think that could be a good choice. But so the GoFundMe issue is cleared up at this point. Having Jamie and team all on board, we feel perfectly confident that now. There is a PayPal setup as well, and we're looking at another option. I think that because of kind of all this back and forth about the GoFundMe, and then GoFundMe deciding to freeze it, so we were going to pull money out and use it for the retainer, and then it got frozen, and then it got freed, and then they froze it, and they freed, and this is a game. It's just a big game. And finally, Courtney had reached out and with Counsel, and they got that sorted out. I think that was finally sorted out today. So GoFundMe's good to go, and we'll be using those funds for the legal fees as they go and the other associated expenses of this whole thing.
Probably should repost some of those information.
The links and stuff. Yeah, we're happy to. And thank you guys. We really appreciate it. We don't know how much it's going to cost to go through this whole experience, but we certainly want to make sure that we can get through it intact and fully. We gotta go to bat, and once it's done, I mean, we gotta make sure that there's some excellent counseling in place, which I'm sure the community is going to step up and be a part of as well. And yeah, I mean, there's so many questions about what comes next, and it's hard to speculate. 'Cause quite frankly, I'm still sitting here without my kids. So, anything else that you think would be good?
There's quite a bit, which is good.
Okay.
And, definitely things you touched on. There's one that got my attention. How do you reply to Kelly saying you claim to be Jesus reincarnate?
All right. So I could sit here and be like, crazy talk. The fuller story, which I think is, I understand what she took and tried to piece into this. I've studied theology since I was in college. I started college at Marymount College, which is a Jesuit college, and I went to Georgetown University and graduated. I had a focus in international relations and culture and politics. I got very into theology. I got very into anthropologies. And quite frankly, spirituality and religions have always been of high interest. Within those realms, there are concepts of, especially Christianity, there are concepts of Christ that deal with a person's own recognition of the kind of the Christ within and the Christ that was the living being, and it's the unity of those two. But when I talk about these concepts with her, she'd think that meant that I was saying I was Jesus Christ. That's not what I'm saying at all. And as far as the Dalai Lama goes in Hawaii,
Pretty cool, I guess.
dude, I would totally go bury treasure with the Dalai Lama. Or like,
I learned some interesting things.
yeah, no. There was a time I went to Kauai. The Dalai Lama was actually scheduled to be there at the same time, but I didn't get to hang out with him. I would have. I think it would be super interesting. I actually met with a member of the Tribal Council of Kauai and exchanged a piece of bone. Actually, it was a dinosaur bone. Here, I'll show you some dinosaur bones so you know what I'm talking about. So this is dinosaur bone. And it's about a 250 million year old piece of bone. You can't pick them up anymore because the regulations had changed. But a long time ago when I collected it, there was a piece of bone that came out, and it was a tropical color piece of dinosaur bone. There's pictures of it I can show at some point, but I brought it over. I met the council member. It was the youngest member of the tribal council for Kauai, and we just started talking about all kinds of fun stuff. But one of them was Puff the Magic Dragon, who lived in Honolulu. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Imagine that. I'd be like, what if there's a dinosaur that flew over? I don't know. And anyways, I left it with him. It was kind of a special token of meeting. But he told me in that conversation that he had buried treasure in Maui after his divorce or something like this. But that was the full extent of burying treasure in the Hawaiian Islands, and it was not with the Dalai Lama.
And you're clearly not going to do that.
No, I don't really have any treasure to bury.
What is your ultimate goal for awareness of this situation? Draw attention to this case, specifically the abuse and exploitation of children, controlled brainwashing of kids, I guess.
Yeah,
carry on after this? Or?
Yeah, I think we should. I see no reason why we should look.
Why stop here?
We shouldn't stop here. No way. I've seen things happen. I mean, you talk about miracles of God. For me, it's tough. I have to kind of compartmentalize my feelings a little bit here, because there is a huge part of me right now that just can't stop thinking about this situation with the kids. But I have to sometimes, because most of my day now is occupied with trying to catch up on messages and answer y'all. And I swear, I'm doing my best to answer as many messages as possible. But what's become really, really clear through this process is that there's a community that's formed. And one of the things that I'm most excited about to see is that I have heard from more people that have come out of the shadows and said, look, I was raped when I was 8 years old, and I've never even spoke of it. And here they are in their 20s or 30s, and I don't know, it's like something's released, like the shackles are lifted, and I feel like this is the moment when somebody goes from a victim to a survivor to a champion, and this transition of a person in a community is really important. And I believe, I'm not an expert at this, but I believe that oftentimes these issues everybody's kind of looked at as a victim, and yes, there is that aspect of it, but there's also a really important aspect, which is that you make it through it, and that you move into a position where you can help others, and that is the transition to survivor to champion. And I see it happening in our group so quickly, and I think that allows us that incredibly loving and accepting place where, for people that need help, or people that are coming into a community where people are going to understand them, who have gone through this stuff, or people are going to protect them. I want that. I would love to be able to say, hey, we got a parent in North Carolina that's having problems with CPS. Let's have, here's a team of 20 people that are interested in helping you right now to go and make some calls, figure out what's going on, hold people accountable, and that's the deal. I want people held accountable for this stuff. And that's really what's been missing, I feel like. I know that it was missing for us. If we would have had 20 people that decided they were going to spend a week on this, we probably wouldn't be in this situation right now. Or a kid that's having outcries and nobody's paying attention. Well, I guarantee you, if Sophie's army is deployed to go and have some conversations with people and make sure that that child is secured or they have a voice, that's going to stop. Power in numbers. And not just that. It's not just a group of people who are together because they're all. It's not just about having something in common. I think it's about having a bit of a common purpose here. And we're here right now, and we're talking about the situation with Sophie, Jack, and Lucas, and that's, we're working on it, but there's no reason to stop this. And so we need to figure out a great strategy to get all the people that are involved together and organized, and make those resources available. So I don't know how to figure that all out yet, but there's some really cool people showing up that I'm sure are going to help. So.
Power numbers, main brains.
For real. Well, oh yeah, and I want to say this too. I think I touched on it the other night, but one of the coolest things I see happening too, there's this. So what happened with Sophie? and it's it's real ironic now I look at it, but she's 9, right? So she was 9 and she was trying to speak up. Well, it's like this weird cutoff line at 12. When you're 12, suddenly you can be heard. But if you're not 12, well, then it's a rare exception that you'll be able to do things like go speak to the judge or actually be heard. And that time's over. I think we need to just end that time in this country, in this world, and give children voices again. It's huge. But once we do, and there's legal protections around it, I think that we see all new avenues to stop sex trafficking of children and people in general, but specifically in this case of children, because they'd have voices at a younger age. Because it's no longer that you can just ignore the voice of a child. Like, they're given a legal protection, so you have to listen. I love that, man. I think it's huge. I think it's important. And with an awesome group of people like this, we could probably make a massive impact quickly.
I think so. Some people are inquiring about Sophie's mental capacity right now. Is any past medical history of mental illness, or is there any current issue with mental illness?
The past, no. She's been a straight A student every single year. I think she was student of the year in the 3rd grade last year. Sophie is incredibly intelligent, wise, deep. She was talking about the soul when she was in kindergarten. I mean, understanding it conceptually, like people who had perhaps spent their life studying these concepts. And in terms of intelligence and ability to figure things out, she's always been way ahead. So I've never had any concerns about her mental health until she started showing signs of, I guess, what we would characterize as like PTSD, where she was getting scared out of nowhere, and this man that was going to run up behind her with a knife and kill her, and those were things we just never heard of before. But it's honestly, it was quite sad to see her go, not just because of the circumstances surrounding it, but also because she'd finally gotten to a nice, calm place. So I don't know how she is right now, and I hope she's okay. But I don't think that any mental health issues with Sophie are something that has been a part of her life the whole time. If she has any mental health issues going on, it's probably because of the situation she's in. So.
You already tapped in, and you don't know if Jake was arrested yet.
No clue.
Okay. And then there's some other issues about the mother's lawyer, which I don't think you really know anything about.
Yeah.
Lots of people are asking why you, as the father, aren't being told where your kids are.
Wonderful question. I have no idea why they're not telling me.
Corruption.
Yeah, there's going to be some things discussed in court tomorrow.
Are you heading to the courthouse tomorrow? I think you already touched on that.
Yeah, because of the COVID situation, they're doing everything via Zoom. There's a link. If you guys want to go onto YouTube, you can find it tonight. You can subscribe to it. It's the 417th? 417, I think. 400.
47, yeah, I think that's correct. 417.
417 District, 417th District Court. They have a YouTube subscription channel. You can subscribe to it, so when it goes live, like I said, I may or may not be in there. I don't know. Honestly, courtroom stuff just is not.
This is actually a good question. How long has the mother been with Jake?
Probably about 2.5 years.
Okay.
About 2.5 years. They have a child. Yeah.
So okay, they have a child together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't know if that during that 2.5 years if this has been something that's carried on to that time. It just came out now, I guess.
No, it didn't. No, there was a first CPS investigation, and we got word of it in May of 2019.
2019.
Yeah. I don't know why the comments aren't working, man. Sorry.
Right, yeah, it's going. So this is great because a lot of this is going to be cleared up. They want to know why didn't they call for the immediate removal of the kids?
In the first investigation.
I'm guessing right now why maybe I don't. Well, I think there was.
If I understood what was going on, I would.
Right.
I would. That's one of the problems, right? It's so dang confusing. Nobody knows what's happening.
It's interesting to hear that Sophie was seen in a Zoom meeting by her friend.
Yeah, there was somebody that showed up. Okay, let me see if I remember this correctly. So, at the courthouse today, at the march, there was a person there, and I guess there was what I heard, and I actually connected onto TikTok because I heard that they were live streaming, and I'm like trying to type, and I'm like, hello, it's Sophie's dad, hello, it's Sophie's dad, hello, it's Sophie's dad, because it just goes,
Right.
Finally I like stacked paste, big old thing, and I'm like, boom, finally they let me get through. And there was some student, they said, that showed up from her school that was claiming that Sophie had showed up so that right now they log in via Zoom, and then that's how they do their class. And she saw her, and she'd brought her sign for Sophie because she was going to the march that day. And this is what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I didn't say, but this is what was said. So that she had her sign, and she said, "Hey, Sophie, I made you a sign." And she told her that your daddy misses you. And she said that she started crying, and that somebody said that they saw bruises on her arm. And then it was, I don't know the rest. I think it just cut off. So, of course, I heard that, and I'm like, what happened? So I'm out there trying to find TikTok, and I'm like, what? Who saw what? And the lady showed me the sign. The little girl had left the sign, but I don't...
Well, it's good that there's a girl out there that's letting her know,
Yeah.
A perfect stranger, which is sad.
Yeah.
Someone's asking what they can do to help from a distance.
A distance.
What can we do to help this situation from a distance?
Yeah, I think this is an issue everywhere. Somebody tonight is having this issue just like we are. So raising awareness of this and showing people that there's a community, that it doesn't matter where you live, you can be a part of. This isn't a community just for the United States. It's a community for the whole world. There's no reason why we can't, someday be a resource in any place. So
there's was concern about the funds being released to the mother because of that letter by her lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any concern about them obtaining your funds off the GoFundMe?
No, we have no concerns about it at this point.
So there never was a gag order that you know of?
Well, I didn't agree to a gag order, and of course my phone cut off, so I didn't get to finish the court hearing. So I didn't know, and it's what it is. But there's other things at play here. I also had good conversations with some larger organizations that work in these spaces, and I think it's pretty logical to say that the First Amendment is overriding anything else. You do have a constitution if you live in this country, and it does give you rights.
This is actually a pretty good question. I have wondered this about myself. What did the police say about the situation that you videoed when the grandmother and the mother were attempting to take Sophie when she admitted to the grandmother? What did the police say or discuss with you during that encounter?
I don't believe that I don't think they saw that whole incident. They'd gotten there right towards the end of it, and if you look in the long form video, you'll see that when Kelly leaves the vehicle, like right before Sophie goes to talk to her grandma, she's leaving there to go talk to the police first. And so, she walked over there, and that's the first opportunity Sophie had to actually talk to her grandma. Anyway, anything else?
Let's see, there's just a bunch. I'm trying to filter through appropriate ones.
Appropriate
Are
ones.
you requesting? Well, some are just repeated. Are you requesting for a new judge on the case?
I don't know. I'm leaving it up to Jamie. She's the expert, and that team is well equipped to figure that out.
Can you get the case moved to here, or out of that, jurisdiction?
I think a lot will probably be decided tomorrow in terms of what's going to happen with that, but I certainly want people who have been involved with this that haven't been completely honest and transparent. I want it discussed. So.
The rumor about the boyfriend being a cop is not true, correct?
No, we don't necessarily think that he was a cop. What I think where that rumor started was that the children had been told that there were multiple members of the family that worked for the police, but they never told them who they were. And so they were always afraid to talk to the police or any sort of law enforcement organization because they never knew if they were a member of the family, which really isn't fair. I mean, that's manipulation completely.
Have you got any updates from her school or tried contacting the school? Or
So I tried reaching out. I wanted to have a conversation with one of the teachers, and it sounds like legal teams have come in and made sure that they're not going to have too much contact. Because of the TRO that was put in place, it limited my access legally to have access to them. at this point, we're going to see what happens tomorrow. And we're going to see what we can sort out, because there's some things that I think need to be figured out now.
The day of, you had to take Sophie back to her mother when she had her little breakdown. Did the boys witness that? And if they did, what was their response?
The day at the Frisco PD?
I guess that when you were still on your property before you guys left to go drop her off, when she said she didn't want to go, she ran off towards the barn.
Oh, yeah. The boys were playing in the sand pit.
They weren't paying attention to what's going on.
I mean, the boys are boys. I mean, they're going off and they're catching lizards and bugs and all that kind of stuff. They, out where we live on about 80 acres of land, and we live in, it's called the Sand Hills. And the Sand Hills are a Paleogene era formation. It's called the Reclaw Formation. It came up like 65 million years ago, and it's where the first mammals started evolving. It's really cool. And so the sand is incredibly fine because it used to be the bottom of the ocean. So I cleared out this area so the kids could have this huge sand pit, and they dig it up, and you could form stuff in there. There's a lot of, it's just fun out there. I like sand though.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody's a kid in sand.
Sandcastles.
Dude, you can build the biggest sandcastle on the planet. Yeah.
Do you know if any motions will be filed at court by any chance?
Yeah, at this point, I'm super grateful we have capable counsel to go and just do this. And again, tune in tomorrow, and you're gonna see what happens, because there's a lot of moving parts of this. I'm not a lawyer, so
Emily wants to know, why wasn't Sophie ever examined by a professional, and do you know why this wasn't mandated? And she also read that your kids tested positive for drugs, which we know not all of them did. This is the one.
She was evaluated by multiple professionals, so I don't.
I guess I'm guessing she's trying to. I think what she means here is the sane nurse.
Yeah.
Was there any contact with?
Yeah, at different times there were forensic nurses involved with this. Those cases and the way that they handle those things are pretty confidential, and they seal them up, and they only go to law enforcement and CPS officials. There was a forensic nurse that, after the incident in Lacey Lakeview, I had to bring her to the hospital because she couldn't open her arm. She could get it open about this far, and she was crying in the back of the car. My dad was in the front, and I asked her, and it's like she got a hyperextension in her elbow. I don't know if it was designated that way, but I know when I used to play ball, like if I didn't get too far of a bend, yeah. And then her ankle, she was having trouble walking, so they did x-rays on her elbow or ankle. They said there was soft tissue swelling in her ankle. And then she had bruises on her leg, scratch on her neck, scratch on her arm, scratch on her leg. And so that forensic nurse documented everything.
And there's been other documentation by doctors because they're all concerned about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's seen doctors.
Yeah, she's seen a lot of doctors.
How is the child tested positive for drugs and isn't immediately removed from the home?
That's an excellent question. Thank you very much. And we'll be asking that very soon.
Right.
Because we ran into a really dumb situation with that.
I don't know if they can hear me on with that. But
Yeah, no, I don't know. So he's asking about the drug test and why weren't they removed. We are asking the exact same thing. So maybe a couple more questions because I'll get some rest before tomorrow.
Yes, Sophie and the boys are together. Is there a current custody agreement in place? Yeah. Do you want us to stop blowing up PD and other officials?
It'd be kind of funny. Why don't you give him a day of silence? Try that.
Day of rest.
Just cut it. Boom. One day.
Can you trace her phone, or have you been able to trace her phone?
I think that's illegal.
Well, I mean, there's programs.
You're talking about Sophie's phone?
Right.
No, her phone is like turned off ever since.
It'd be a good idea to put
Parental apps, yeah, she has one on it. It was turned off. Yeah, her phone was turned off. Yeah.
So, well, there you go.
I know.
Is the so-called mom mentally stable, and is she on drugs? You may not want to know.
Oh man. Yeah.
Wants to know Jake's last name.
I think that's published plenty of times.
Yeah. So you can find it. It's on the site.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Was there anybody charged or an investigation or something tested positive?
No, nobody. In fact, both Courtney and I got hair follicle tests. Then I got hair follicle tested again. And to my knowledge, nobody got hair follicle tested that lived in the primary household. Yeah,
that clears up any rumors about drugs amongst you guys.
Yeah, actually, Jack got tested by CPS after I got tested. And then Sophie and Lucas didn't get tested till like 3 weeks after it happened. So it was just nonsense.
Have you heard back from Dr. Phil or possibly any other celebrities that have been in contact with you?
Yes.
Keep that down until it happens.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because I do gotta get some sleep, and Courtney's super sleepy too. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. You're going to see what happens tomorrow, I guess, and I don't even know where this goes. So love you all. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. Bye.